Dennis, welcome to Jay Secchio Live. You're on the air.
Thank you. Jay encapsulated perfectly what I initially spoke to you about. Iran was supposed to be sanctioned, bankrupt, completely flat financially over the past 4 years, from what I heard periodically. And I'm wondering how they have the funds to send up 4 ballistic missiles that land within 100 miles of the Nimitz. Where do they get their money?
Well, they get money from, and Rick could address this, but they in the past they've been supported by Russia. They have been supported by the Chinese, and previously, Rick, they had a very strong economy, which they do not have right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's remember that they lie, so we don't always know the truth, but they definitely have great deals with China. They're selling oil still, so that's a very good resource for them. Plus, they still make money off what they call humanitarian goods. So the trade that the Europeans get to do is classified as humanitarian, and it continues. I mean, when I was ambassador, I found, a lot of trade that was not humanitarian, or certainly couldn't be classified that was going through. And so we're constantly trying to crack down, but they cheat and lie and get around the system.
We did a symposium a couple of years back in Oxford, the University of Oxford, at one of the colleges, and Iran was a big focus of it. And one of the papers that was delivered by one of our colleagues was about the new Silk Road, that China had the Silk Road into Iran. And what people West don't understand from a military standpoint is that President Trump was very successful in aggregating the Middle East view on Iran, which forced, in a good way, relationships with Israel because there was a common enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of the countries in the Middle East, and I've lived there, they see Iran as the big threat. They've known for many, many years Israel was not a threat. But now they're coming on board and acknowledging it publicly that they need Israel to stand with them and the United States against Iran, which is a threat to them. And it's unfortunate that I think history is going to repeat itself. 30 years ago, we were where we are right now with North Korea. We tried sanctions, we tried aid, we tried negotiations. 30 years later, North Korea is a nuclear-armed nation. Now our only hope is to hope they don't use the weapons. We are slow learners, Jay, because this same thing, if we're not careful, is going to happen with Iran.
The one thing I was thinking about, Andy, when we were talking about that in Oxford, when we did that whole program, focusing in on Iran and Turkey and the whole bit, that there is an Iran-Turkey connection, too.
Oh, there is a definite connection between Iran and Turkey. And then we have to understand that the Turks right now are not our friends, and they've never been our friends, really. It certainly haven't been the friends of Christians, and certainly haven't been the friends of their NATO ally, alleged ally, Greece. It's a dangerous connection that we have to keep our eyes on. I hope it's something that President Biden is going to come to realize is not in the best interest of the United States to support the Turks. The Turks are a dangerous people. They've always been. They always will be.
Jordan?
Yeah, I think that, listen, we're in a situation now, it's a classic, and Rick, it's not like anybody wishes this on America or that we have to deal with this, but it's so predictable that even before President-elect Joe Biden has taken the oath, we see Iran take more aggressive steps against American citizens, more aggressive steps militarily, because they think and they know if Joe Biden's telling the truth that we're going to get back into this deal as a country with them, that the money's going to start flowing that much easier.
The Biden team is going to definitely try to go back and do exactly that. But I think there's one thing that's different this time, and Jay was touching on it, the Abraham Accords. I think there's a recognition in the region that they cannot go back to the days where Iran threatens the region. The Obama years were terrible for the region. They enjoyed a very different sentiment in the region. And we're already now seeing Doha and Riyadh talking and trying to figure out with Jerusalem what they can do about Tehran. That is a big deal, and that's going to be a problem for the Europeans and for the Biden administration.
I was just thinking about that, Rick. The fact is, one of the lasting legacies of this President Trump is going to be those Abraham Accords, because the reality is it was a complete reshaping of the Middle East for the betterment of the world and for the betterment of the region, but also for the betterment of the United States. I think it's tragic in a sense that policy probably will not be continued, because what you had was an alliance because of a common enemy that became strong. Now, let me tell you what we're doing at the ACLJ, folks. So we've got people like Rick Grinnell and Wes Smith, and we've got others in the region. We have offices in Jerusalem. The American Center for Law and Justice is fully engaged in the Middle East. Now, our advocacy over the last 4 years was easier, to be frank. Okay, it's not going to be easy now. It's going to be going back to the UN and starting that whole fighting when you're fighting with your own country at the United Nations. And I want to follow up when we come back from the break on Rick on that, because guess what, folks? We had 4 years of relative peace at the United Nations for the United States. We didn't have to go up there every 2 weeks fighting policies like we did under the Obama administration. Remember, our European Center is a full NGO at the UN. Get ready for that. Buckle your seatbelts on that one. Be a lot of work ahead.